Hi, I'm Jacob, and I need to give you an update of what just happened this past weekend. I mean, for me, it was historic. We, about a year ago, started planning for the tour of Spain, and that's going to the capital city of every province of Spain and sharing the message of the cross. So this weekend, we got to visit our very first province, and it was in Vizcaya in the Basque country, capital city Bilbao, up on the northern coast of Spain. And 15 churches from different denominations brought us in, divided our team of 9 evangelists from our ministry at On the Red Box into 3 separate churches to do workshops and teach people how to do evangelism. Now get this. Over 140 people were in our workshops. Can you imagine that right now? 140 people that want to learn evangelism. And not only that, out of those 140, about 10 people came to us and said that they had a call to be an evangelist, to lead an evangelistic team. And this is so significant because we've been praying for years in our prayer house that God would raise up evangelists and evangelistic teams across Spain. Now we get into Vizcaya, and these people come to us and say, we want to be trained, God has called us, and it was just an answer to our prayer. We got to preach in 9 different churches in the area on Sunday morning, and over 100 people over the weekend had made a profession to want to repent of their sins and get their lives right with God, which is absolutely amazing news. And I would say the testimony, what I'm bringing back from this team trip that we took was an open air meeting that we did on Friday night. And I preached after Maritza gave a concert open air. We were probably about a couple hundred people on the street listening to the concert. I had about 10-15 minutes that I could share a message, and I preached on how we live our lives all tied up and how Jesus can, in redemption, can set us free. And I gave an open altar call in the open air. And I prayed for 3 prostitutes that had left their positions, when they were working, came to the campaign, prayed for them. They said that they wanted to get right with God, hooked them up with ministry at YWAM. But then I gave the call one more time. Does anybody else want to be free and be forgiven of their sins? And then I just waited. And then I looked down on the ground in front of me about a stone's throw away, and there were a bunch of kids sitting there. And a girl, maybe about 8 years old, raised up her hand and she says, I want to. Now, she just said it to me, and I heard what she said. And so just privately I said, then why don't you come here? And she stood up and she came to me. She came with a couple of her friends. Now, she's never been to a church. She knows nothing about what we're doing. She just heard the message, and she said, I want to. And I said, give me your hand, and we prayed. And she closed her eyes, and the presence of God came. And she was having an experience with God. And I'd open up my eyes, and she still had her eyes closed. And I knew that at that moment, I remember my wife Julie having an experience with God at 10 years old that changed her life forever. And here's this girl, 7, 8, 9 years old, having an experience with God. And her phrase is what stood out to me. She says, I want to. And that's all it takes. And I was thinking, if we could all become like children, and thinking if the Basque people would have the faith of this little girl saying, I want to, they could all be saved. Thanks for backing us in our Tour of 52.